Elon Musk's plan to colonize Mars with 1 million people by 2050 is entirely dependent on one key technology: perfecting the Starship. To that end, the development of the Starship is personally being overseen by him, as Elon Musk has moved to the heart of the Starship program. That is SpaceX's starbase in BOCA, CHICA, Texas. But it isn't just important to make Starship the best interplanetary rocket there is, it is also important that SpaceX scales the Starship production so they can move the volume of people and cargo to reach their colonization goals by 2050. In this video, we will be taking a look at SpaceX's insane new plan to produce 1,000 Starships. Let us first go through why Elon Musk is adamant to produce this many Starships to colonize Mars. Well, that is pretty simple. If any serious effort to colonize Mars is going to be made, we will need to move a lot of people and a lot of cargo to make it work. Initially, the colonization process will start with an outpost. The first few missions to Mars will not even involve people living there for extended periods. They will last a week or two before the crew comes back home. Once SpaceX has figured out their plan for a self-sustainable outpost on Mars, this is when the real work starts. Making the first self-sustainable outpost on Mars means you not only need to send a lot of people to Mars, but also a lot of equipment that will help these people make a habitable space for themselves. And to do that, you need a reliable fleet of rockets. Each Starship, when ready, will have the capacity to send over either 100 tons of cargo or 100 people per ship per flight. Now, if we only have a few dozen Starships, it might take a long time to send the number of people and equipment to Mars in order to set up a self-reliant colony. But all this process can be accelerated if we have a large enough fleet of Starships and can have multiple simultaneous launches. In fact, Elon Musk wants to reach the point where SpaceX has a big enough fleet of Starships that it can do 3 launches per day. You heard that right, 3 launches per day. In a tweet, Elon Musk said, "Payload to orbit per year of Starship fleet is most mind-blowing metric, as it's designed to fly 3 times per day, which is 1,000 times per year." This is probably where the 1,000 Starship per year number came to Elon Musk's head. In a response to a user about how many Raptor engines SpaceX plans to produce, Elon Musk responded that about 9,000 Raptor engines per year was the goal. He further elaborated that SpaceX would need to produce about 1,000 Starships per year if it wanted to colonize Mars. In his tweet, Elon said, "Roughly 800 to 1,000 per year. That's about what's needed over 10 years to create the fleet to build a self-sustaining city on Mars. The city itself probably takes roughly 20 years, so hopefully it is built by 2050. Another important thing to note is that Starship won't need the booster stage once it leaves Earth. Elon Musk plans to return the booster to Earth so it's ready to refly in under an hour, a fully reusable system. According to Elon Musk, a self-sustaining city on Mars would likely require somewhere in the region of 1 million tons of cargo. That requires around 10,000 Starship launches to reach that figure. Hosting 10,000 launches with 250 vehicles would mean that each ship has to fly 40 times. That would require each ship to complete the round trip from Mars and back in the space of 6 months. As the trip to Mars could take anywhere between 80 to 150 days, and Mars reaches its closest point with Earth around once every 26 months. So best case scenario, SpaceX manages to build 160 ships per year. Each ship only has to launch 6 times over the 20-year period to meet Musk's cargo transport goals. Elon Musk has previously stated that SpaceX could build a self-sustaining city in the course of 10 orbital synchronizations. In that case, SpaceX will be launching massive fleets of Starships every 26 months when Earth and Mars are very close to meet the cargo transport goals. But these are just some of the reasons why Elon Musk needs such a large fleet of Starships. How will Elon Musk actually get to those numbers? Well, Elon Musk has planned for that as well. The Starship and its Raptor engine were not only designed to be really good at what they do, the Starship was also designed to be as cheap as possible, as well as being very easy to produce on a large scale. So is the case with the Raptor engines that will power the Starship and the Super Heavy. SpaceX is already close to its cheap goals. Right now, according to SpaceX, each Raptor engine costs them $2 million. They plan to reduce that number even more. In comparison, the engine being made by Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin BE-4 cost them $8 million to produce, so SpaceX is in the right direction for the cheap aspect of the Starship project. In terms of scaling the Starship manufacturing, that is a totally different story. SpaceX made their primary Starship production facility in BOCA, CHICA, Texas, as far away from urban space so they could in the future expand that to a huge manufacturing facility. Right now, the Starbase isn't at mass manufacturing levels, but they are testing the Starship as well as their capabilities to produce such a huge fleet of the Starship. So, is Elon Musk serious about the 1,000 Starship number, or is that just a publicity stunt? Well, in terms of how the daily operations at Starbase are going, he is pretty serious. In an interview with BERGER from Ars Technica, Elon Musk recalls one fine Sunday morning at 2 a.m. in 2020, a meeting was called. He wanted to know why the Starship factory wasn't operating at all hours, why steel sheets weren't getting welded into domes and fuel tanks, why tanks were not being stacked into rockets, why things weren't going as fast as he wanted. And this tone of urgency is not only because Elon Musk wants to get to Mars in his lifetime. Elon also realizes that the money might run dry one day. The faster they do it, the more probability they get to that number in time. The engineers and technicians in that meeting said they needed more manpower. It wasn't physically possible to go any faster. And Elon was like, that is not a problem, you can hire more people, but each person you bring on is your reputation on the line. And this wasn't decided for next week. The next morning, on Sunday, 12 hours later at 1 p.m., there was a recruitment gather. They would have another one on Monday at 1 p.m. and then again at 8 p.m. Long lines of people showed up, family members and friends, mostly local. Cars and trucks jammed the roadside up and down BOCA Chica Highway. At 11 p.m. on Monday night, SpaceX was still hiring. SpaceX added 252 people to its South Texas launch site on that Sunday and Monday, and they doubled the workforce just like that to more than 500 workers within 2 days. Elon Musk is spending money hard and fast to get Starbase up and running. In a matter of weeks, SpaceX had built a small city in BOCA Chica, and SpaceX first started building its presence in Texas. And if the money and the urgency aren't enough for SpaceX to reach the goal of 1,000 ships, Elon Musk himself is the chief engineer of the project. He personally wants someone with the same drive as him to guide and lead the project. Elon Musk said that no great engineer would take the job of the chief engineer. And what's the point of hiring someone to be the chief engineer who isn't great, according to him? So he became the chief engineer of SpaceX himself. Once his dream Starbase is up and running at full capacity, he expects to produce one Starship every 72 hours. So it is that important for Elon Musk to not only get his Starship fleet right, but also on time. His Starship project and the plan to colonize Mars is his magnum opus. He will either do it or go down in flames and die trying.